What's good, YouTube? Quinn Wade basketball analysis coming to y'all with a quick video. Today we gonna talk about Sweet Lou Williams. He's a guy that been wrecking and reaping havoc on the NBA this season, averaging a career high 23 points a game. They usually call Lou Williams a chucker. He likes to take a lot of shots. He done played 44 games with the Los Angeles Clippers this year. Only 14 of those games he was actually starting. He's shooting 44% from the field, which is a career high because he's shooting 44 in 9. 44 449%. So at the end of the day, that's a career high besides the 47% that he shot in Philly in 09 2010, where he came off the bench 38 games, but he played a total of 64. Not only that, you have Lou Williams shooting a career high 40% from three, launching 7.3 threes a game, which is also a career high. He never shot over 6 threes a game in any season of his career, and he's shooting a career high 7.3 threes a game, and he's knocking it at a above average rate with 0.40%. You also got him as a 90% free throw shooter this year. In his whole entire career, he never shot 90% from the free throw line. And this is the year he's doing it so far. He also averaging 5 assists a game. He never in his whole entire career as a starter or coming off the bench has ever averaged 5 assists a game. And this is the first season he also doing that. And this is actually the first season he has ever averaged over 20. This is the first season he averaged 20, but also this is the first season in his entire career that he averaged over 20 with 23.4 points a game. Lou Williams is having a hell of a season. Not only that, his team is winning. And if you listen to the broadcasters, if you listen to Doc Rivers, they're telling you why. They need him to be aggressive. They need him to be in attack mode. They need him to keep putting pressure on the defense. Every time they run a pick and roll, they want Lou looking to score, looking to make plays, looking to get to the paint. So that way DeAndre can feed off of him. Blake can feed off of him. You got Wesley Johnson in the corners, trying to knock down threes. And you have players like Patrick Beverley and Gallinari that if they was healthy, they can feed off of that too because they can knock down spot up threes also. And you still have players like Teodosic that can feed off of it too, especially because Lou Williams can play the 2 or the 1, and he is a great ball handler, knowing exactly where to get on the court, how to get there, and when to take shots, when not to take shots. Even though we call him a chucker and he could be a little trigger happy, he's earning the respect from Doc Rivers. Not saying that Doc Rivers never did respect him. All I'm saying is you can see that Doc Rivers is starting to trust him, and he's giving him the green light to do whatever he wants to do because it's helping him win games. Like, honestly, we did not see the Clippers after all the injuries, fighting all the way back, getting to a bad start. They got off to a good start in the first couple games of the season, but then Blake Griffin went down a couple times, and also Danilo Gallinari. Then they lost Patrick Beverley also for the rest of the season. We didn't really see them being able to compete for a playoff spot after all those accumulations of injuries happening all at the same time and all close to each other. You have to give credit to Lou Williams. You got to give credit to DeAndre Jordan. You have to give credit to Doc Rivers for staying positive, continuing to help to find ways to help the team win. You have to give credit to Austin Rivers because he stepped up a lot of games, knocked down big shots, and got a couple 30 and 40-point games, which actually helped them too because Lou can't do it all on his own. He did have 50 against the Warriors. He did show that he can take over games consistently. Like I said, he averaging 44% because you want to be around 44 to 45% as a volume scorer. And that's a lot because Lou Williams usually shoot under that. And especially in the amount of shots that he's taking to get to that 23 points a game, he's actually shooting 16 shots a game. And that's not even including a free throw. And that's a career high. No coach has allowed Lou Williams to shoot 16 times a game, especially coming off the bench like Doc Rivers is right now. Also, like I said, he's shooting a career high in threes, and he's shooting 6.1 free throws a game. Coming off that bench was also is a career high also. So he's getting as many shots as he's want. He's making the defense stay honest. He's putting the defense in situations where they had to read and react. They're trying to trap Lou Williams. They're trying to double team him. They're trying to force him to be a passer. They're trying to force him out of his high spots. And the man is just scoring and scoring and scoring. He's finding, even if they force him into a tough three, a long three, even if they don't, he finds ways to get to the free throw line, and he still finds ways to get to the basket no matter how hard they try to stop Lou, slow him down, and force other people to beat them. Lou Williams still finds a way to get his shot. And that, to me, is proof that the guy is having his best season in his whole entire career. Obviously, it sounds ridiculous to say that, but it's obvious. And we all know it because we just look at the numbers and we look at the team winning, and we don't look at where they was a couple weeks ago to where they are now, which is the AFC in the playoffs, which we thought wasn't possible. We thought that, hey, remember the rumors? They should trade DeAndre Jordan. They're not going to make the playoffs. They're not going to win the championship. And we don't know what Blake Griffin is coming back. They should just try to get what they can get off of DeAndre Jordan while he's playing well and trade him for some type of value back. Maybe a top 10 pick, maybe a first round pick, maybe a salary dump because he can leave anyway because he's an expiring contract. So maybe you want to trade him for a longer veteran. Maybe you want to trade him for some young pieces on rookie contracts, or maybe you just going to let him walk away and just, use this cap on somebody else. Or, we don't know what they're going to do, but that's what we was talking about just a month ago. But Lou Williams and Austin Rivers and DeAndre has really turned this team around and kept them afloat and kept them in a playoff race. And now they actually have a legitimate chance. And I did this. You can go back and look at the footage. I picked the Clippers to make it to the playoffs this season. And that was a prediction before the season ever started. Obviously, the Clippers barely in the playoffs. One game they'd be back out of the playoffs. So obviously, it's not that I'm right, but I did think that roster-wise, on paper, and with Doc Rivers, that they have enough talent to make the playoffs with this current roster. And I'm glad that they was able to turn it all the way around and get back in that playoff race because it makes me look good too. But I did pick this team to make the playoffs, and hopefully they do, not just because of me trying to be right, but they're fun to watch. They're a tough team to stop. Doc Rivers has always been a great offensive coach. Doc Rivers has has always been a great play drawer. He draws good timeout plays. He draws good plays for executing in the fourth quarter. He just sometimes get a little bit ISO heavy when he let his stars in the fourth quarter take a lot of tough shots, and sometimes he can get his offense a little stagnant from time to time. Even when they had Chris Paul, sometimes in the fourth quarter they'll look unstoppable, and sometimes they get shut down. And you haven't really seen that with Lou Williams and Austin Rivers as much because they're more attacking, score first guards compared to Chris Paul that likes to keep teammates involved while still picking spots when he wants to score. Lou Williams and Austin Rivers is always in attack mode no matter what happens, whether it's breaking down in a one-on-one play or coming off screens. They're looking to attack and they looking to get to the paint when they can shoot them threes, but they're not pass first players. Even though Lou Williams is averaging a career high in assists, we all know that he's averaging 23 points and shooting 16 times a game, and that's not even including the free throws. So he's getting them shots up. But that was the question. I wanted to talk about that. I wanted to cover all that about Lou Williams. He's having his best season. He's putting up numbers. His team is winning. He looks like a lock for sixth man of the year, only starting 14 games this season. And he's, Eric Gordon was averaging 20 points a game, but Lou Williams is averaging 23. So you have to give it to him, and he has career numbers across the board. And that has warranted people like Shaq, Ernie, and Kenny to want to vote Lou Williams into the All-Star game if they was the coach. But the problem with that is these are some players that can possibly make it or have been having a more consistent season than Lou Williams, which can actually hurt him when it comes to the All-Star voting. Even though in January he averaging 30 points from the 30 points a game, 46 from the field, and 40% from three. The season in December he averaged 25, and in November he averaged 21. But in that October month he only averaged 13 points. But he consistently improved. He consistently adjusts, and his numbers been up every single month since October, and that does warrant him to be an all-star. These are the people that they pick above Lou Williams. LaMarcus Aldridge, because he carried the Spurs to a top 3 seed in the West. Jimmy Butler, because he helped the Wolves become a 3 to 4 seed in the West, and he's a two-way player, and he's averaging 20 points a game. And also he plays defense, and he actually is a great playmaker for his position and also a great scorer. Damian Lillard is averaging more points than Lou Williams, and he's the best player on the team that's in the playoffs so far. Klay Thompson is obviously more of a upgraded role player, well, glorified role player that gets a lot of shots because of the system and because he's a knockdown shooter. And he also is a two-way player. Obviously, you have to have Russell Westbrook because he's putting up better numbers across the board than Lou Williams. Karl-Anthony Towns, they're winning more games. They're winning more games, and they're a top 4 seed in the West. So you would think they get 2 All-Stars. Plus, he's averaging 20 and 10, and you can't really argue about that, especially because they're winning. You also got Paul George, who averaging a career low. One of his lowest scoring seasons because he's on a better team. But also he's a two-way player, something that Lou Williams ain't. I know Lou Williams had 10 turnovers. 10 steals the other day. Lou Williams ain't known as a scorer. Plus, Paul George is giving you 20 points a game on a team that's in the playoffs at a higher seed. He's shooting better from three, but their numbers are close all across the board. I give the edge to Lou over Paul George when it comes to scoring, but obviously defensively he's leading the league in steals. Devin Booker is averaging more points than Lou, but Lou Williams has a better record as the Clippers are better than the Suns, even though we know the Suns is young and they got a terrible team and they got a okay coach because Earl Watson got fired. But Devin Booker is scoring more points and he is doing a lot more for his team so far, but his team is severely worse and they're not even close to making the playoffs. And of course, you got Chris Paul, who missed a lot of games this season, but he has been playing on as a two-way player. He has been giving you assists. He has been giving you close to 20 points. And if you count the defense and the fact that the Rockets continue to beat the Warriors and they continue to have one of the top 2 seeds in the West, you might have to consider giving another spot to Chris Paul so that way they can have 2 All-Stars if you don't give it to Eric Gordon. Obviously, Chris Paul played by then 30 games plus by the time the All-Stars start. Maybe you want to give it to Chris Paul over Lou because he's averaging significantly more assists. He's significantly more efficient. And on top of that, he's not turning the ball over, and he's still giving you close to 20 points a game. And we don't really know where his numbers will be at when the All-Star weekend actually start because it's 4 weeks from now today that I made this video. So let me know what you guys think. Do you think Lou Williams is an all-star? Do you think he having a better season than any of those games I listed? Any of those players I listed, because all those players are his competition to get them last couple all-star spots in the West. If he was in the East, I think he'd be a guaranteed all-star. But since he's in the West, he got a competition with Chris Paul, Devin Booker, Russell Westbrook, Klay Thompson, Damian Lillard, and Jimmy Butler, and Chris Paul. So let me know what you guys think. Check out my website, AnalysisPlayground.com. Link in the description in the comment section below. And also check out my Facebook page, AnalysisPlayground.com. Link in the description, comment section below. Quinn Wade Basketball Analysis, and I'm gone.